Today on Locked On Rockies, continuing to search for answers. Are they going to come in time?
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 27th day of June in the year 2022. I'm Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, following this team my entire life and bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network for a year and change now. You can see more about what I do at paulfholden.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Paul F. Holden, or actually, no, that's Paul. That's on Instagram, I guess, actually, if you want to follow me there. I don't really post too many things over there. That's the personal side. But Paul Holden 33 on Twitter if you want to follow me. At LO Rockies, if you want to follow this show on Twitter. And if you subscribe on YouTube, you can be part of the live show like so many of you awesome Rockies fans do all the time. Today on Locked On Rockies, we are talking about the team searching for a spark. And if a spark does come, is it going to be too little too late? Before we dive into that today, I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Before we dive into anything Colorado Rockies related, let's go Avs. Let's go Avs. Let's go Avs. Let's go Avs. Unbelievable, folks. The Colorado Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions, and I am so unbelievably jealous of all of you that get to celebrate. They're in Denver this week and got to watch the series in Denver the whole time. Man, was it an exciting series. Man, are the Avalanche great. And man, was it great to see a team that committed to its vets and built around them and got them into the championship and making Gabriel Landeskog a lifetime member of the Colorado Rockies, or not Colorado, well, maybe, but the Colorado sports legacy, along with Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Darcy Kemper, and all those guys that helped out make a big time win for the Avalanche. What a series, what a playoff run. Holy cow, just dominant the entire way. In it, all those games they lost against the Lightning except for the one. I know you can get more on the Locked On Avalanche podcast, which you should definitely go listen to, breaking it all down, of course, but I'm not going to start the show off by ignoring the fact that the Cup is in Denver, that the Colorado teams are on top, that Denver has been a dominant hockey town this year with, I saw national championships. I saw from a high school team. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. DU, of course, winning a national championship. And now the Colorado Avalanche on top as well. What a time. It's a team that it has the spark. It's a team that has the energy. It's a team that has the drive on top of obviously having all of the pieces. This is something that the Colorado Rockies don't have. CJ Crone is quoted in the Thomas Harding piece. Rockies come home looking to redefine season. And it really is kind of a make it or break it moment. Yes, folks, we are entering in the make it or break it point for the Colorado Rockies. The season could be over after the next 17 games. There's 17 division games in a row coming up. And I'm sorry I didn't give you that quote from CJ Crone. Let me get that to you here. When the power goes, it seems like the offense goes as well, said Crone, who went 2 for 4 on Sunday. I don't know what it's going to take, but it's getting that power stroke at home and on the road. The Rockies are desperately looking to break this inability to have clutch hitting, and it's infuriating. This team should be better. This team is a batting average leader. This is a team that has strong offensive statistics, minus home runs. The Rockies need to hit home runs. That's where your spark is going to come. For your offense, this team needs to hit the long ball. I don't know what has happened over the past. The Rockies' home run numbers have been down for years. And now that the pitching is shaky, and this circles back, what the Rockies are doing is not working. It's not working. The Rockies continue to look at it, are continuing to dig themselves in a deeper hole, not making the changes that they need to from the top down. I don't necessarily know if bringing in new coaches, I don't necessarily know if new managers is it, but it's a whole new philosophy. It's the spark is going to come when this team actually understands and values and dives into who it is. It's a team that needs direction, and it's a team that we don't know about the direction. The spark comes when there seems to be something there, and there was. And maybe if the Rockies have a successful stint against this division stretch, they can save their season. But they have to hit with runners in scoring position. They need to get a ton more from their pitching staff that they haven't gotten this year. They need the player that they signed a bunch of money to come and be a contributor on this team to play. They haven't got that. They need to play clean, elite defense. They need to have a bullpen that shuts the door. All of these things, all of these issues are something that you have to keep in mind. We're going to dip back into Thomas Harding pieces here. Much of the rest of the 6-3 loss to the Twins is better left at Target Field, like how the Rockies continue their penchant for leaving runners on base. No use bringing any of that home with them. Monday starts a series with the Dodgers in a stretch of 17 games against the National League West, with the team desperate to redefine the season. Oh, and they can leave the anger behind. Connor Joe stamping toward the dugout after becoming the third straight hitter not to capitalize with 2 out and nobody on in the second. Jonathan Daza spiking his bat and causing a divot after a line out as the Rockies did nothing with bases loaded and no outs in the sixth. Austin Gomber slamming his glove and ripping at his towel in the dugout after hanging a slider to Max Kepler to give up an insurance run in the seventh. Dump it all in the mighty Mississippi River that separates the Twin Cities and forget it. They'll get back home and face their NL West rivals, opponents who at least lately have yielded their few stretches of decent baseball with series wins over the Giants away and Padres at home and a split with the Padres on the road in the last 3 weeks. If he checks out physically, Chris Bryant, the free agent brought in to booster their offense, will return Monday from a back injury, and the Rockies need to shake the cumulative failures of a 1-5 road trip and realize they can't undo everything at once. I have to disagree with Harding here. You need to channel the anger. There needs to be a better way, but the emotion at least reminds me that the Rockies care. These Rockies are actually going out there and the fierce competitive spirit is in there. That anger and frustration has to be channeled into some sort of focus, some sort of confidence at the dish that you're not going to get beat again. Yes, you have to just wash it away. Yes, it's baseball, but enough is enough. This team just went 3 for 30 with runners in scoring position in a series. We can't just wash it away in the river. We can't just you can't just expect the players to just not be angry when the pitcher reaches down and makes an incredible play and snags a huge opportunity away from the Rockies. Being frustrated, slamming your bat and all that stuff, yes, it's not always the most productive way. You have to channel that frustration and anger, but at least it shows emotion. At least it shows fire. At least it shows that this team is frustrated, and they should be. But it also doesn't help. It's not helping them break 3 for 30. It's not helping them put the ball over the wall. Maybe Chris Bryant is the thing that's going to come back. Chris Bryant being in the lineup consistently is the last time the Rockies have had a winning good stretch of baseball this year. Maybe he is going to booster the offense, and maybe that will alleviate some of the pressure and some of the frustration, and we won't have players. But if in Austin Gomber's case, I mean, he's in the bullpen. After being traded, after being the key piece where the Rockies shipped away the franchise. You don't want Austin Gomber to be mad? Austin Gomber should be pissed. Austin Gomber should be figuring out what the heck is going on. Austin Gomber should be going to the pitching coaches and the pitching staff and asking, why are these teams so much better prepared to hit us? Why are these teams having such great success in reading our pitches? Why are we having such a difficult time as a starting rotation this season? Thank God Herman Marquez is at least getting some sort of back on track. He still walked all those people in that game. I'm not gonna shy away from 7.2, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, and getting away with that's a good hard fought Rockies win. That's how you start a series. That should be your spark. It's a grimy win. It's not pretty. It's not what you want to do. But what do the Rockies do in response? They go out and they get trounced 6-0. They get 1 hit. 1 hit. Something has to change. We can look for the spark. It can be Chris Bryant. It can be this, but it needs to also be in the mentality. Because if you're not going to go into these 17 games still believing you're going to win, it's going to get real ugly, folks. we're going to be looking at at one of the worst situations the Rockies have been in a long time. And if it isn't an eye-opener for this front office and this organization and the people involved, I don't know what ever will be. Because the Colorado Rockies, where is their spark? It's in St. Louis. It's in Boston. It's closing for the Mets. That's where it is. It's on the bench, hurt with a back. It's analytics. It's a different approach to the game. Instead, it's the same old Rockies story, time in and time out. Now, is there optimism here? Can things be a little bit better? Yes, there are things that we actually can look at and take away from this weekend and say that they are positives, and we will dive into that. But first, I got to tell you about some of the people that make this show possible, and that includes Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is something I take. It's something that is so crucial to me. I just last week, and sometimes with my day job, I have some shifts where I have to work at 2 a.m, or I have to go in and work until 2 a.m, or I work these random hours. And I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee. I don't really drink anything to get in the morning until I started drinking Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is a great natural way to boost me up in the morning, and it makes me just feel better knowing that that's the way I started my day. It's not a breakfast. It's not something that's going to necessarily fill you up for the whole day, but it's a great way to start your day right before you have your first meal of the day, because you're absorbing 75 high-quality minerals, vitamins, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, and it helps all the parts of your health, your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things. You've seen me drink it on the show, and if you don't want to believe me, well, Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes, and you can get in on the action right now. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We're also brought to you by BlueNile.com. Whether you're ready to pop the question or you're celebrating a milestone moment, find jewelry as unique as your favorite person with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile has simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft the perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. And those jewelers, well, guess what? The staff is available 24/7 on the phone or on chat, so you can make sure that you are finding the right piece for your budget. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Rockies listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. Use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured, shipped free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. One thing to take away from this Rockies road trip is they did, in fact, play a lot of close games. The Rockies were in a lot of games. The Rockies had ample opportunities. And if you look at it, if some things go and bounce the other way for the Rockies, they could have ended this trip 3-2. What you can take away, the positive, is that Connor Joe continues to be a dynamic leadoff man, and he continues to be someone that can contribute to this team. Charlie Blackmon is fine being able to continue to put the ball over the wall. CJ Cron, a couple of hits in yesterday's game. And the Twins are a good team. The Twins are a really good they're a team that is really starting to see what they have at the top of their order. They're a team that is strong. And for the Rockies to be in those games is a good thing. However, that's just us candy coating the yesterday's game. Saturday, they got beat. They got crushed. They were dominated. CJ Cron was the only reason the Rockies did not get no hit. And you know what? That happens. But on the flip side, yesterday is unacceptable. Yesterday, when you're looking for the spark, when you're looking for the game to get you back on track, that's the game that's the game you're looking for. ample opportunities, multiple chances with bases loaded, no outs, runners on second and third. Your spark is there, and the spark has to come from home runs, and we're seeing some of it. But the Rockies desperately need to just make an adjustment or do something different at the plate. Do something that you don't normally do. Do something that you're confident just gets the ball in play. Make an in-bat adjustment to just do something so the Rockies can score runs. All you need to do is it's not all you need to know. I know that's negating the difficulties of hitting, but these are the professionals. These are the Colorado Rockies. This is a team that has a lot of high batting average players. This is a team that has a history of being good on offense. This is a professional baseball team. You got to drive in those runs. It's so frustrating. It's just, you look at the score of the Rockies, another game where they out-hit their opponent. That's, again, if you wanted to, I don't even know if that's a positive anymore. I was trying to be positive in this segment, but the positive comes back when a good stretch of baseball comes together. You have to save your season. You have to do it now. Because this is not only do the Rockies work their way back up into a near 500 record if they can find a way to win over this stretch, but you're beating the division. And those are the most important games, especially when you're the Rockies. Taking down those teams when you have opportunities to do so is a must. And you have 17 of them. But boy, the order is tall. It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. Back to Thomas Harding. We talk daily about approach, about plan, about the opposing pitcher, manager Bud Black says. Right now it's difficult, but the worm will turn. Hitting home runs would ease the pressure. The Rockies hit just 3 homers on the trip after swatting 8 in a 3-game home sweep of the Padres to end their last homestand. But Coors hasn't actually been a panacea for power problems this season. From May 13th to June 16th, the Rockies went 5-14 at home. In the 14 losses, they had just 10 total homers. Brian has not had a homer in the 17 games he has played with the back issue. No doubt involved. If he is healthy, Bryant can change the offense. But teams don't drop to 11 below 500 on poor clutch offense alone. Starter Ryan Feltner, without his best breaking pitches, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits in 4 innings yesterday. The defense was clean Sunday, but has not often been this year. There's another thing. The Rockies did play a good series of defense, and they did keep it relatively clean. It wasn't error-free the entire series, but at least over a stretch here for the Rockies. I believe it was 1 error in the win there for them. And did they have it yesterday? No. So one benefit there was the defense is, we are seeing the defense clean up a little bit. We are seeing Ryan McMahon make better plays. We are seeing less errors. We had that 4-error game not too long ago. But again, something that we want to look at for positives. Good, clean series of defense there for the Rockies. Byron Buxton, they were just hitting the ball where the Rockies weren't in some of those situations there. Back to Harding here as well. We just need to be a little more consistent, said Blackman, who drove in the only run in Friday's 1-0 victory over the Twins behind the pitching of German Marquez for 7 2/3 inning and closer Daniel Bard. Shout out to Daniel Bard right now, too. Daniel Bard has been pitching well. He's in a really good stretch. It seems we played good for a bit and then slipped for a while. The Rockies couldn't force action when they needed it during play, but their reactions were colorful. Sometimes you do that and the team gets fired, Daza said. Gomber, replaced recently by Feltner in the rotation, reacted to being 1 out away from 3 clean innings after replacing Feltner on Sunday. It's just frustrating for me personally to not be able to make that one pitch, to have that one clean outing. To an extent, it's all okay with the manager. I want guys, if they're feeling it at the moment, it's fine. As long as they regroup and focus, it's part of competition. Like I said, it's part of that passion. It's part of that energy, and it is good to see it. I mean, it's frustrating times to be the Rockies, but there are at least blimps of things that you can be hopeful about. We've talked about the defense. The bullpen actually wasn't too bad in this stretch. They actually came in and salvaged some stuff with the Rockies there. Not so much with in yesterday's game, of course, but Feltner was really the one responsible for most of the damage there in yesterday's game with the 5 runs. Gomber only giving up the one extra run when the game, however, Senza not sharp and Estevez getting locked up, but again, Bird and Chacin had solid appearances for them. There are pieces that are working. The Rockies just need to get them all together. They need to play good, cohesive, clean, aggressive baseball, and now's the time to do it. I mean, this is it. This 17 game stretch truly makes or breaks the season. We've talked about the bad. We've talked about some of the positives. And maybe if you guys have any things that you want to dive into, let me know in the live chat here. But yes, the alert of the season is quote unquote over is coming. And you can see it's very warm in my room. The heat waves here. The Rockies are feeling the heat as well. I don't want to give up. I don't. I want to sit here and be confident that Chris Bryant's return to the Rockies and that better defense that we're seeing and some good bullpen performances and German Marquez going deep in a game and Kyle Freeland going deep into games. I want that to be the stuff that is keeping me afloat and keeping me excited. But this is it. If you're gonna show that you are a competitor, if you, as the Rockies, want to believe that this team as constructed can compete with Chris Bryant back in the lineup, this is the stretch to do it. It has to be now. It has to be here, and it has to be against the National League West. Let's talk about tonight's matchup. Get ready for the Dodgers heading into town. But before we do that, BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including all things Major League Baseball and all the rest of the world of sports, including the early prop bets or anything else that you might want to get involved in, like, hey, esports. It's your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. I like the live betting sometimes. It's fun to drop in, especially if you're at the game and watching. And BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. The 45-26 Los Angeles Dodgers are heading to town. They are taking on the Rockies. Chad Kuhl is taking on old friend Tyler Anderson, who is currently sitting at 8-0, 3.00 ERA, 0.96 whip. Eric Harper says, I would love to know how it feels to be a champion. Go Avs, go. I'm much on the bandwagon of the Avs, so of course I'm very excited. It's very cool. It's very fun, but that's that. I wish it was for the Rockies, and we can ask the Dodgers because they are very much still have their eyes on the prize here. Whew, this is going to be a tough series. But the Rockies are sitting at a 3-game winning streak against the Dodgers, or home win streak, I should say. And they haven't played them since the beginning of the year. They're 19-19 at home. What better way to change the home narrative for you than a nice series win against the Dodgers? Man, it's tough when you see someone like Tyler Anderson. And we talked about this, I think, the other weeks ago about someone that a solid player that that got away from the Rockies and has gone out there and found some continued success. Another thing that would be a good sign for the Rockies is if Kuhl can go out and have a good start. He has, again, the pun is included, cooled off tremendously. He has not been the Chad Kuhl that has started the season and went into the second month of the season. He has not been nearly the pitcher that the Rockies were getting from him before. Let's take a look here, a little bit more on the stats. Is there anything else that's useful on my note sheet right here? Not really seeing too much there. I mean, it's the Dodgers. You got to come to play. But who am I watching tonight? The big story to watch for me tonight is, honestly, can the offense put the ball over the wall? That's what I'm watching on the offensive side. But looking for a solid start from Kuhl going up against Tyler Anderson. 8-0. I mean, that's at the back of their rotation. 8-0 with a sub-1 whip. Hey, but it's Coors Field. Anything can happen, and the Rockies did just sweep the Padres the last time they were in town. Anything's possible. We'll be breaking it all down, giving you your live reaction to the game like we do all the time here on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can pop into the live chat just like Eric Harper did. And you can stay up to date when we post the video podcast and a whole lot more. Follow me at Paul Holden 33 and follow the show at LO Rockies on Twitter. And there's so many great podcasts on the Locked On Podcast Network. You can find your team every single day. Find what is going on with the Colorado Avalanche with the Locked On Avalanche podcast now that they are Stanley Cup champions. You can also listen to the Locked On Broncos, Locked On Nuggets, and us, the Locked On Rockies podcast as well. Folks, until next time, I'm Paul Holden.